Good afternoon. This is Katie Friedman from Unicron. I'd like to welcome you to our live session, Tools for Reaching Your Data Backup and Recovery Goals. Before we begin our session today, I did want to give you a few housekeeping notes. As you may have noticed, we do have all attendees in listen-only mode. With this in mind, we do welcome your questions throughout today's presentation. However, we do ask that you utilize the chat functionality from the WebEx Toolkit or the Q&A functionality from the WebEx Toolkit to ask the panel your questions. Please make sure to address all questions to all panelists so that we can answer your questions as quickly as possible. With those details taken care of, I did want to go ahead and introduce our presenter for today. Today we have Dave LeClaire, who is the VP of Product Marketing here at Unicron. Dave?
Thank you, Katie, and let me welcome you as well to today's session. So during today's session, we're going to cover a few things. I'm going to touch a little bit just on some backup and continuity trends that we're seeing. But mostly, we're going to dive in and talk about some free tools. Yes, absolutely free, no cost to you whatsoever, tools that could potentially help you in running your environment, getting a handle on kind of what your environment looks like, and potentially protecting some of your assets as well. And we're going to wrap up with, I'm just going to touch on how some of those free tools actually extend and tie into the overall Unicron's portfolio. So let's jump right in. And obviously, we're in an environment where we're dealing with a lot of data, really an explosion of data. We're seeing digital everywhere. And as a result of that, it's becoming more and more of a challenge to keep track of where all our data is. Is all of it protected? You know, I love some of the stats that are on this chart. You know, the fact that we generate over 2.5 quintillion bytes of digital information every day. 90% of the world's data has been created just in the last 2 years alone. We're seeing new use cases that are driving up data creation in virtually every industry. 96% of SMBs, and really all enterprises, see their digital information as a core strategic asset. And unfortunately, if you happen to lose that data due to a disaster or some sort of major outage event, many of those SMBs are forced to shut as a result of that. So making sure that we're protecting our data is and we actually know what all of our data is obviously very critical. So as we live in this realm where data is increasing exponentially, unfortunately, IT's confidence in their ability to recover that data has been falling at the same time. Some of this is due to kind of legacy tools not kind of keeping up with the pace of innovation in cloud systems and the like. Some of it is due to the need to update processes and tactics. Some of it is just simply due to there's less IT resources to cover all this data. Data is growing at a 50x rate, and IT resources are growing at more like a couple percentages a year. So as a result of that, you're asked to do more with relatively the same amount of budget, and that's affecting our ability to protect all these assets. So, and that's showing up in a lot of recent surveys. This chart that I have up here is actually from the research organization ESG, where they asked, what would you consider your organization's most important IT priority over the next 12 months? And once you get past the obvious kind of security initiatives, which are critical to everybody, we instantly start getting into a lot of things that are directly related to data and data backup and recovery and continuity. Number 2 thing is improving data backup and recovery. Number 3 is managing that data growth of all that data that we're creating. But even as we drop down a little bit further, we get into other things that directly impact how we protect systems, how we protect workloads, and how we protect data. Things like using cloud infrastructure, regulatory compliance initiatives, and DR initiatives are all well inside the top 10 priorities of what we're being asked to deal with on a daily basis. Looking at this a little bit deeper, they also ask people to characterize their challenges in their organization's current data protection processes. And the answers are across a number of areas, but we see things like, the cost to do all this. Keeping pace with the capacity of data is certainly among the top challenges. Managing the complexity of all this. Doing backups that are remote. We see all sorts of different things that require us to probably take a different stance on data protection than we have previously. A lot of the things that we have been doing as an industry to protect our data, protect our systems, were really set in motion decades ago. If you're still using legacy systems and backing up to tape and sending those tapes off, through an overnight shipment to be stored, you're probably not taking advantage of all the great continuity techniques that we actually have today, such as being able to use hybrid cloud empowered backup and things of that nature. So clearly, there's a lot of things that we're dealing with. So we put this series of webinars together to really help you kind of look at your current environment and see if there's things that you could potentially be doing. This particular session is going to look at some of the free tools that Unitrends offers that can help you kind of get your arms around what's going on with data protection and what's happening with data in your environment. And as I said at the beginning, these tools are absolutely free. Everything that I'm going to talk about in the next couple minutes are things that you can get today for zero money. So I'm probably not being as funny and articulate as the TurboTax commercials that are going out there that have some of the kind of world-famous celebrities like Dr. Mikio Kaku explaining what free means. But we really are talking about things that are absolutely free, zero cost to you. So let's take a look at them. And I think I have 5 or 6 in this list. The first one is a free backup capacity tool that allows you to discover all the data center files across all the multiple storage devices and servers in your environment. And it collects this information and builds it into reports that are very detailed, but also have a high-level summary as well. And you can use these for backup planning. You can use them to basically create executive-ready decks of PowerPoint, so you can go to your management and show them where all your data is and how it's being used and how much of it there actually is. And this is a very comprehensive and powerful agentless solution. So this installs as a virtual appliance into your environment. Doesn't have to go deep into your systems, and most importantly, it's absolutely free. And as you can see, one of the sample reports that we show here, this is showing you kind of what your application data is, where your archive data, how much archive data you have, all sorts of breakout on your data comes from this tool. The next one is another free tool. It's similar to the previous one. Matter of fact, it's actually from the same vendor, a company called ArcScan. This one is a free storage inventory tool. And what this does is it provides you an opportunity to get a comprehensive point-in-time snapshot of your current storage capacity and your utilization, and to share those in reports. So what this will do is this will go out and basically look at all of your usage, break it out into allocation and utilization reports, and show it to you in a very easy to understand graphical utilization status. So here's another example of kind of a topology view that this tool can basically go out. Will actually display the relationship between where your data is it actually in specific business units, and where it actually physically is located. You can kind of select items in the node in the tree and look at all the dependent objects that kind of radiate out from there. So again, it's a powerful tool that you can use to get an understanding of what your current environment looks like, which can be very helpful, particularly if you're going to be starting on a new data protection project. You might be looking at looking at a new vendor or a new solution, and this can certainly help as a starting point. Both of these tools are available from us, from Unitrends, from our website. We supply free 10-day versions of these things. There are production-level versions of these tools that, if you like them and you want to use them kind of year-round, you can acquire them easily through the purchase option that ArcScan actually has built into these tools as well. But for most users, we find that the 10-day version is enough for them to basically run, get the reports that they need, and be able to get the understanding and insight on their data that's necessary for them to move on with their planning. The third tool that we wanted to talk about is something completely different. This is a tool that we call BCD Our Link. This is a free online tool that helps you build and customize a DR plan. So for those of you that are saying, yeah, I've got backup nailed, but I'm just starting on DR. I really need to understand how to go about building a plan, what the best practices are for DR, what regulatory requirements might actually be hitting me for specific industries. BCD Our Link will walk you through all of that and help you build your own plan. And it will share with you some of the best practices. It allows you to fill in specific details that are specific to your particular business. So there's plenty of space in here to attach checklists and floor plans and any custom instructions that are unique to your business. And one of the nice things about BCD Our Link is because it's a web-based tool that Unitrends hosts, you can store your plan right in BCD Our Link, which is important because if you actually need to put your DR plan into action, having your plan be located somewhere in the cloud can be very advantageous. If you've built your plan and stuck it in the drawer of your desk at the office and something horrible happens and you have a true disaster and you're not able to get to your office, either because of local conditions from weather or something actually happened to your office, such as a fire or tornado or something like that, you still have access to your plan. And everybody who needs to have access to the plan can access it as well. So you can connect the right people the right way instantly and put your plan into orchestration as quickly as possible. So that's available actually at the web link that's shown here, bcdrlink.com. And this is something that we do have a lot of users of. This is something that actually has thousands and thousands of plans that have been put into it already. So next chart is actually just a screenshot of the kind of high-level view. So you go into this tool, you create an account, and you can build and edit your plan. You can manage the users. You can even embed other files if you wanted to store other information along with your DR plan. You can store it all within this tool. The fourth tool, and again, all these are absolutely free for you to use in your planning, is a free recovery time actual calculator. So what this free tool does is it allows you to quickly calculate how long it's going to take you to recover a critical application in your data center. So what it actually does is if you may have an end-tier application that actually has a domain controller and a database and a couple auxiliary application servers that are all independent on each other and have to boot in a specific order, what this does is this actually connects to your vCenter. It allows you to add those VMs in a specific order, actually in a sandbox environment. It creates kind of link clones so that it doesn't disrupt your production environment at all. And it calculates the recovery time actual. So you can actually use that to make sure, one, that you're able to meet any of your recovery time objectives, but it allows you to kind of quickly and manually get the dependencies worked out on how long it may actually recover. So what I'm showing here right now is an example that's a pretty simple one. Like I said, might have a domain controller or a database, and the domain controller has to boot first. It has to be up and running before that database is booted. And then the third boot order might have a couple other applications. We'll boot those in order and calculate an actual recovery time. So in this particular case, it runs all the way through and calculates that those applications to boot all the way up to being fully up and running is going to take a little more than 9 minutes. This can be used as a manual test as well for your recoverability. We actually have a piece of technology that we call Reliable DR, which is our recovery assurance solution that we sell that will automate doing all this for you and generate reports and do this across an entire enterprise, which is very powerful. But if you're simply just looking to basically do this manually once in a while, this is a very cost-effective way of doing it, although we do recommend the full kind of recovery assurance solution for most of our customers to get absolute confidence that their recovery environments are always up and running. But this is a good place to start to at least be able to do it on a manual basis. The last tool that I want to talk about is actually a solution that if you have a small environment, whether it's a development environment or a small environment or a lab, and you want to actually protect that, we offer a completely free version of our software virtual appliance solution that's called Unitrends Free. And Unitrends Free is essentially the same software that we actually sell as Unitrends Enterprise Backup, only instead of protecting your entire environment, we limit it to 1 terabyte. That is the only limitation we really put on this. This will protect your VMware and Hyper-V VMs. This will protect your physical Windows servers. It does backup and archiving, backup copies to cloud, has instant recovery, has incremental forever protection policies, has cloud capabilities. It's very feature-rich, has very rich reports built into it. This is not a time-bombed. It's not limited in the amount of retention or sockets or virtual machines. It's just designed for small environments. We limit you to 1 terabyte of what we call protected data. So you can actually have a lot of retention, a lot of copies of that 1 terabyte, but this is a good way to get started if you're new to kind of virtualized backup. We recommend trialing it. You can download it free and use it forever starting today. The last piece of thing really isn't a tool, but it's something I wanted to share as part of this because I think it's something that can help people as they're doing their evaluation and looking at backup solutions in general. And this is a report that is put out by a research firm called Infotech. This is their Select and Implement a Backup Solution Guide. This is a very detailed document. I think it's almost 200 pages long, but it actually gives you a complete blueprint for reviewing and selecting a backup solution. It shows you the types of things to look for. It compares to different vendors that are out there. It walks through 5 distinct different business cases or use cases based on what you may need. So if you're looking just at a backup as a service solution, it'll compare the vendors based on that and tell you what features to look at. If you're looking for something that's just a homogeneous environment, like you only have VMware, it will do that comparison. If you have a heterogeneous environment that has a mix of physical and virtual servers, it'll go through all the different things to look for in selecting a solution there. It evaluates us and a bunch of other vendors that are in the space as well. I highly recommend it if you're beginning to look at a new backup solution. It's a great place to start. Can save you a lot of time in kind of figuring out what's important to you and what you should be looking for in a backup solution. So again, this is freely available from Infotech. It's also available on our website as well, and I recommend taking a look at this as well as you're beginning your journey. So those are just some of the free things that we supply. A little bit more detail here on Unitrends Free, which kind of in the interest of time I'm going to skip through. But Unitrends Free actually has a very simple user experience that's designed to be very easy to use and be able to install and back up your entire environment with kind of a minimum number of clicks versus some of our typical competitors. It has a great new dashboard and user interface that we released this year. Provides you a lot of reports. So I'll skip through that just in the interest of time here. So those are just some of the free tools and things that you can use as you're looking at your data needs and your backup needs that you can go to our website and post stuff down today. The last thing I wanted to do before we wrap up, we're going to do a short Q&A at the end of this, is to look at how Unitrends can actually help you beyond some of the free tools that we provide as well. So just wanted to do kind of a quick overview of the Unitrends portfolio. So Unitrends is a company that does continuity solutions, does data backup, business continuity, and disaster recovery solutions. And we provide solutions that are radically simple to use. We really focus on the IT administrator who's very busy, has a lot of hats, and needs a solution that through the use of automation and through the use of a very intuitive UI can hopefully have data protection kind of drop into the background and work without a lot of attention being spent on it. Our solutions are very comprehensive. We put a lot of enterprise features in for products that are really priced for mid-market customers and SMB customers at prices that they can afford. We supply both physical solutions as well as software solutions that really are designed to be cloud-empowered and use both local protection as well as cloud protection to maximize your data protection and your system protection for a wide variety of possible downtime contingencies that could potentially hit you. So this is a very high-level view of our portfolio. Generally speaking, most people will either purchase a Unitrends Recovery Series physical appliance, and we have models that range from about 1 terabyte up to models that are almost 200 terabyte in size. Or for customers that don't want a hardware solution from Unitrends, want a software solution that will run on their own hardware, they can choose Unitrends Enterprise Backup, which is a backup software solution that deploys as a virtual appliance into VMware or Hyper-V or even Citrix XenServer, or it can install as installable software directly into a Linux environment as well. Both of these solutions are designed to provide the same cloud-empowered data protection for physical and virtual systems. Both solutions can be extended with our Unitrends Cloud offer. So we have Unitrends Forever Cloud, which moves backup copies from these appliances up into the Unitrends Cloud for long-term retention and DR capabilities. Once your data is actually into the cloud, we can do all sorts of interesting things with it as well. We can utilize the Unitrends DR as a service capabilities to spin up critical workloads in the Unitrends Cloud with a 1-hour SLA if you actually have a downtime event. We have our reliable DR technology, which allows you to basically test that your DR and your backup are working exactly as you'd expect, that you're going to be able to recover with 100% confidence when you actually have the need to recover. The last thing that's in our portfolio that I want to talk about today is a product called Boomerang. Boomerang is an interesting solution that can run either as an independent product or can be run in conjunction with Recovery Series and UAB. And it's really designed to actually move your data from your production environment up into the AWS cloud from Amazon, and then be able to use AWS for either backup or DR or even cloud bursting if you just need extra capacity to basically get through a busy time of year, for example. Boomerang makes it easy to move that data around, migrate that data. We do all the transformation, we do all the configuration to kind of move from a VMware environment up to an AWS environment and back. We do all that machine transformation necessary with Boomerang. So just a little bit more detail before we do some Q&A. So what can Unitrends recover? We have a very broad portfolio. We protect over 200 different versions of operating systems, applications, and hypervisors. If you have it running in your environment, whether it's VMware, Hyper-V, Windows, Linux, legacy Unix, Mac systems, any of the popular enterprise applications, SQL, SharePoint, Exchange, Oracle, chances are we do protect it natively out of our box, and can from a single pane of glass, from a single solution, be able to protect your heterogeneous environment. A little bit more just on Unitrends Cloud. Unitrends Cloud is our public cloud solution. Forever Cloud is designed for that long-term retention. We have data centers actually located now in 5 different countries. So if you're an international company and you need to have your data that's in Germany stay in Germany, we can do that. So we have data centers now in the US, the UK, Canada, Germany, and Australia. Unitrends Cloud, very feature-rich, very capable cloud for both storage, DR, as well as recovery assurance. As I said earlier, once you're in the Unitrends Cloud, we can provide our DRaaS capabilities. These allow you to spin up workloads in the Unitrends Cloud. We can spin up both physical workloads as well as virtual machines. And we guarantee a 1-hour SLA in the event of declaring a disaster to make sure that you're always going to be able to have your critical applications up and running. And for both your on-premise locations, or if you set up your own DR environment at a second location, or you're running in the Unitrends Cloud, we have the capability of providing recovery assurance that does automated testing, similar to what we saw in that free tool, that free RTA calculator. What recovery assurance does is it automates the testing of those N-tier applications, make sure that your recovery time objectives and recovery point objectives in actuality are being met. We can do that across a wide variety of applications in your environment and send you a report as often as you like that validates and proves that your environment, your backups are okay, they haven't been corrupted, there's nothing wrong with the backup tool, and that your DR environment is going to be able to boot up and function exactly as you'd expect. There's been that will prove that there's no drift between your production environment and your DR environment, so you can actually have 100% confidence in your ability to recover. And we deliver that, as I said, in a standardized report that shows you what the actuals are versus what your goals are, so that if you do fall out of compliance, you can do something with it right away. So with that, I think we're going to turn over to a question and answer session. I'm just going to leave up this final screen to show you some of the places where you can actually go So you can go and look at BCD Our Link at bcdourlink.com. You can download either Unitrends free or a free trial of our Unitrends Enterprise Backup direct from the Unitrends website. If you're interested in anything we've talked about, we'd love to have a conversation with you. So we're actually running a promotion that is called our 50 for 15 campaign. So for customers that and prospects that are willing to have a 15-minute conversation with one of our backup experts for qualifying prospects, we'll pay you $50 just for being able to have that conversation with us. So with that, I think we're going to pause for just a few seconds while we switch over and get ready to do the Q&A. So the first question I actually see coming in is kind of a clarification on, I had said protected data. So Frank is asking, can you define exactly what you mean by protected data with Unitrends free and 1 terabyte? So what we mean with protected data is your backup solution may have a lot of storage. You may actually be, depending on how much retention you actually want, whether you're having 15 days retention or 30 days or 180 days retention, the storage consumed by that may actually be much larger than 1 terabyte. What we're talking about when we say protected data is the actual source data in your virtual machines that you're protecting. So if you have 10 VMs and they're each 100 gigabytes, that adds up to 1 terabyte. You may store multiple copies of that data. That data may have a change rate of 10% a week, and over time, you may actually have a couple terabytes or more of storage actually connected to your Unitrends free system, but we're only limiting you to the amount of protected data that you're protecting. So that's what we mean by protected data. Dave asks, what if I have more than 1 terabyte? Is there an upgrade path from Unitrends free to Unitrends Enterprise Backup? The answer to that is yes. You can actually, you do have to reinstall the UEB product, but your backups, because it's the same tool, your backups actually can remain the same. Your repository can remain the same, but you will have to reinstall and reconnect to those backup repositories with UEB. But there is a migration path from Unitrends free to UEB. Have another question here about where are all these tools located. So if you go to the Unitrends website, you will see in our products area, if you go to the products drop-down, you will see a free tools area listed there. All the free tools, the storage tool, the capacity tool, the RTA calculator, the link to BCD Our Link, all those can be found actually in that section. So if you go to products, free tools, you will see all these things listed, and you'll be able to download them. You'll also be able to see demos of how to install these and actually how to use some of these tools as well. There's some detailed demos that are up on our website as well. So I think we're about at the end of time for this. I think we wanted to run about 30 minutes with this webinar, and we're a few minutes over. So I think we're going to be wrapping up this session. So I'm going to turn this back over to Katie to wrap up.
All right, folks. Well, we want to thank everybody for their time and for all of the great questions that we had today. We're not able to get to everyone's questions, so we're going to be following up with each and every one of you here over the next 2 days just to answer those questions that we may not have gotten to. And we will be informing the winner of today's gift card via email as well. So we want to thank you for your time and hope you have a great afternoon.